Nestled in the verdant heart of the African countryside was the village of Omuka, celebrated for its serene river that wound elegantly through the landscape. This river was the village's lifeblood, supplying water for daily necessities and serving as a communal hub where stories were told, household clothes and dishes were washed, and songs were sung. However, hidden from most, the river was the dwelling of a mystical mermaid named Imara. Imara was a mesmerizing being. Her scales, a dazzling mosaic of iridescent blues and greens that glistened like precious gems beneath the water surface. Her eyes, the color of deep oceanic blue, sparkled with intelligence and curiosity, often reflecting the sunlight that danced upon the river. She had a graceful form with longing, flowing hair that cascaded around her like liquid silk, adding to her overworldly beauty. Imara's heart was as pure as the clearest spring. She harbored an immense love for the villagers of Omuka, a love that grew stronger with each passing day. From a hidden grotto, she would observe them as they went about their daily routines. She watched with admiration as children played by the river banks, their laughter ringing out like music. She marveled at the rhythmic dances performed during the village festivals, the way the villagers moved in harmony, their spirits high and joyful. Imara was enchanted by their stories, their songs, and most of all, their capacity for kindness and care. In her heart of hearts, Imara yearned to be part of the human world. She dreamed of walking on land, feeling the earth beneath her feet, and experiencing the warmth of the sun on her skin. She longed to join the villagers in their dances, to share in their stories around the evening fires, and to know the simple joys of human life. Yet, this was a dream she could not realize, for she was bound to the water, her home and her sanctuary. Imara's mother, Queen Malika, was the sovereign of the river, a wise and powerful mermaid who had seen many human generations come and go. Unlike Imara, Queen Malika was wary of humans. Her scales were a darker shade of blue, and her eyes, although wise, held a hint of caution whenever she spoke of the world around the surface. "Humans are unpredictable, my child," she would often say, her voice carrying the weight of centuries of experience. "They can be kind and loving, but they can also be selfish and destructive. You must be careful not to reveal yourself to them." Despite her mother's warnings, Imara's love for the people of Omuka never waned. She saw the goodness in their hearts and the beauty in their ways. She believed that humans and mermaids could coexist in harmony, each learning from each other. Her dreams were filled with visions of a world where she could walk among them, share in their lives, and perhaps even find a way for the mother to see the potential for good in humanity. Imara's compassion extended beyond her observations. She often used her magic to subtly aid the villagers. If a child was sick, she would whisper a healing spell into the river's current, sending it to the village well. If crops withered under the scorching sun, she would call forth gentle rains to nourish the land. Her heart swelled with joy whenever she saw the villagers' relief and happiness, even though they never knew the true source of their blessings. Yet, for all her love and good deeds, Imara remained hidden, a silent guardian of Omoka. She cherished her dreams of walking among the humans and held onto the hope that one day her mother would see the world through her eyes and come to understand the depth of her love for the people of Omoka. One serene evening, Imara sat by the edge of her grotto, watching the villagers of Omoka with a heart full of love and admiration. Her longing to give them a tangible token of her affection grew stronger. She decided it was time to bestow upon them a gift that would enhance their life and bring them joy. Drawing upon the ancient magic of her kind, Imara swam to the heart of the river where the water was purest. With a wave of her delicate hand, she chanted an incantation in the old language of the mermaids. The water shimmered with a radiant light, and Imara felt the enchantment take hold. From that moment on, any water fetched from the river and cooked would transform into the finest salt, pure and white as snow. The following day, an elderly woman named Mama Nuku, known for her wisdom and warmth, went to fetch from the river. She filled her clay pot and carried it back to her humble home, unaware of the miracle that awaited her. As she prepared dinner for her family, she noticed something extraordinary happening. The water in her pot began to crystallize, forming delicate salt crystals that glimmered in the fading light. Astonished, Mama Nuku called out to her neighbors, Come quickly, oh! You must see this magic," she exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement and wonder. Her neighbors, curious and intrigued, gathered around her small kitchen, peeping into the pots with wide eyes. "What is this, Mama Nuku?" asked one of the villagers, a young woman named Ifoma. "Look at the water," Mama Nuku replied, her eyes twinkling with delight. It has turned into salt, the finest salt I have ever seen." The villagers gasped in amazement. Word of the miraculous salt spread rapidly through Omoka, and soon people from all corners of the village were flocking to Mama Nuku's home to witness the phenomenon for themselves. Chief Uka, hearing the commotion, made his way to Mama Nuku's house. As the village chief priest, he was keen to understand what was happening. He examined the salt crystals closely, marveling at their purity and quality. "This is truly a blessing from the spirit," he said, his voice filled with reverence. "We must honor this blessing." The villagers gathered in the town hall that evening, the air buzzing with excitement. Mama Nuku, holding a small bowl of the enchanted salt, stood before them. "These gifts," she began, her voice carrying over the crowd, "is a sign of the love and favor that the river holds for us. We must cherish it and use it wisely." From that day forward, the river's magical salt became an integral part of Omoka's daily life. The villagers used it to enhance their meals, preserve their food, and even traded with neighboring villages. The salt brought huge prosperity and joy to Umuoka, elevating the village to newfound heights of wealth and happiness. Imara washed from the depths, her heart swelling with joy at the sight of the villagers' happiness. She was pleased to see her gifts bringing so much benefit to the people she adored. As the week passed, the village thrived. Traders from distant lands came to Umuoka, eager to exchange their goods for the precious salt. The once quiet market square now bustling with activities and laughter. Families that had once struggled to make ends meet now found themselves living comfortably, their lives transformed by Imara's generous gift. Despite the prosperity, Chief Umuoka reminded the village to honor the source of their fortune. "We must never forget that this gift comes from this river," he said during a village meeting. "We must treat this river with respect and gratitude." Imara, in her hidden grotto, felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Her love for the villagers had manifested in a way that brought tangible joy and prosperity to their lives. Yet, she remained vigilant, knowing that the true test of her gift would be in how the villagers continued to honor and respect it. The village of Umuoka flourished like never before. The once modest and tranquil settlement became a hub of so much activities and prosperity, transforming the lives of its residents. New homes, studios, and more beautiful than ever sprouted up among the village paths. Children wore bright new clothes, their laughter and joy echoing through the village as they played without a care in the world. The village square, previously a quiet hub for local trade, was now busy with foot left, right, and center. Traders from near and far came to Umuoka. Some came to see, some came to confirm what has taken place in Umuoka. Exotic spices, colorful fabrics, intricate carvings, and rare fruits found and were filled in the market stalls, creating a vibrant tapestry of culture and commerce. The villagers, proud of their newfound prosperity, welcomed the influx of visitors with open arms and warm hospitality. Word of Umuoka's magical salt spread like wildfire far across the neighboring regions. Merchants who visited the village carried tales of its extraordinary salt to distant lands. Soon, Umuoka became so renowned far and wide, attracting trades and traders from the most unexpected places. Caravans from the distant regions, boats from coastal towns, and even travelers from distant kingdoms made their way to Umuoka, drawn by the promise of prosperity and the allure of the enchanted salt. As more and more traders arrived, the village infrastructure grew to accommodate the increased activities. New roads were built, and the market square expanded to host the growing number of merchants. Inns and guest houses sprang up to provide lodgings for the travelers who came to trade. because they will stay days sometimes in Umuka before going back to their villages. The village's economy thrived, and with it, the sense of community and unity among the villagers grew stronger. Chief Umuka, observing the transformation of Umuka, felt a deep sense of pride and responsibility. He knew that the prosperity they enjoyed was a gift from Imara, and he reminded the villagers to honor and respect the river and its mystical guardian. "We must not forget the source of our blessings," he would say during village meetings. "Imara had given us these gifts out of our own love for us, and we must show our gratitude by taking care of the river and respecting our wishes." The villagers took these words to heart. They organized communal efforts to keep the river clean and its surroundings pristine. They built altars along the river bank where they offered prayers and small tokens of gratitude to Imara. On the day of rest that Imara had requested, the villagers gathered at the river to celebrate her and the blessings she had bestowed upon them. They sang songs of praise, danced in her honor, and shared stories of how the salt had changed their lives. Imara watched all this with a loving heart. Her joy at seeing the villagers prosper was immense. She often swam closer to the surface, her eyes twinkling with happiness as she observed the bustling market and the joyful celebrations. She felt a deep connection to the people of Umuka, and their gratitude and respect only strengthened her resolve to protect and watch over them. The fame of Umuka reached the ears of distant kings and chieftains, who sent emissaries to negotiate trade agreements and establish alliances. The village elders, guided by Chief Oka's wisdom, handled these negotiations with skills and diplomacy. They ensured that the benefit of the trade extended to all the villagers, not just a selected few. The wealth generated from these agreements were used to build schools, improve infrastructures, and support the less fortunate members of the community. One day, a grand delegation from the distant kingdom of Isidibe arrived at Umuka. They brought gifts of gold, silk, and rare spices, seeking to establish a formal trade partnership. Chief Umuka welcomes them with open arms, organizing a grand feast to honor their visit. The feast was a splendid affair, with tables laden with finest dishes, all enhanced by the magical salt. The air was filled with the sounds of laughter, music, and the clicking of glasses as the villagers and their guests celebrated together. During the feast, the leader of Isidibe delegation, Prince Emem, spoke to the villagers. "We have heard of the wonders of Umuka and its magical salt," he said. His voice resonant and warm. "We wish to form a lasting bond of friendship and trade between our two lands. Together, we can achieve great prosperity and mutual benefit." Chief Umuka responded with gratitude and grace. "We are honored by your visit and your generous gifts," he said. "Umuka welcomes this partnership, and we look forward to a future of shared prosperity and goodwill." The agreement with Isidibe marked a new chapter in Umuka's history. The village continued to grow and prosper, its fame spreading even further. Yet, through it all, the villagers never forgot the source of their blessings. They remained humble and grateful, always honoring Imara and the village that had given them so much. Imara's heart swelled with pride and love for the people of Umuka. She knew that her mother, Queen Malika, would have been cautious about such rapid growth and external influences, but Imara believed in the goodness of the villagers. She had faith that their gratitude and respect would continue to guide them, ensuring that the bond between the river and the village remained strong and pure. And so, Umuka thrived not just in wealth, but in spirit. The villagers, united by their shared prosperity and their deep respect for Imara, created a legacy of honor and gratitude that would be remembered for generations. Despite her generosity, Imara needed a time to rest and renew her magic. One night, as the village of Umuka slumbered under the watchful gaze of the stars, Imara decided to communicate her needs to the villagers. She chose to appear in the dream of Chief Uka, a man of wisdom and respect among his people. In the dream, Chief Uka found himself standing by the tranquil river under a brilliant full moon. The water shimmered with an ethereal glow, and from the depths emerged Imara, her iridescent scales sparkling in the moonlight. Her presence was both calming and awe-inspiring, her eyes reflecting the deep wisdom of the river. Chief Uka, Imara spoke, her voice a gentle whisper that echoed through the dream. Your village has thrived with the gift I have bestowed unto you. However, I must ask something in return. To maintain the magic that blesses your river, I need one day each week to rest and renew my powers. During this time, no one must fetch water from the river. Choose this day wisely and honor it with respect. Chief Uka nodded, understanding the gravity of her request. We are grateful for your gift, Imara. We will honor your request and ensure that one day each week the river rests undisturbed. Thank you for your continuous blessings. As Imara's face faded, the chief awoke with a sense of purpose and clarity. He knew that the day of the rest was crucial for maintaining the balance and harmony between the village and the mystical river. The following morning, Chief Uka called a village meeting. The entire community gathered in the town square, curious about the urgent assembly. The chief stood before them, his presence commanding attention. My fellow villagers, he began. Last night, I received a message from Imara, the guardian of our river. She has requested that we set aside one day each week for her to rest and renew her magic. On this day, no one must fetch from the river. The villagers listened intently, their faces reflecting a mix of curiosity and reverence. We must choose a day that holds significance, Chief Uka continued. I propose we honor Imara's request on the day of the new moon. The new moon symbolizes renewal and reflection, a perfect time for us to give thanks and rest. The villagers murmured in agreement. The new moon was already in a time of quiet contemplation and new beginnings. It seemed fitting to align it with the day of rest for their beloved river. One of the village elders, Mama Nuku, who had first discovered the enchanted salt, stepped forward. "Chief Uka speaks wisely," she said. "The new moon is a time for introspection and gratitude. Let us honor Imara's request and show her our appreciation for her generosity." With unanimous agreement, the villagers established the day of the new moon as Imara's day of rest. They pledged to refrain from fetching water from the river on this day, recognizing it as a small sacrifice for the great blessings they received. The first day of the new moon arrived, and with it a sense of anticipation and reverence filled Umuka. The villagers prepared for the day by fetching extra water the evening before, ensuring they had enough for their needs. As the sun set, casting a golden glow over the village, the river banks fell silent. The villagers gathered by the river, offering prayers of thanks to Imara. They laid flowers and small token of gratitude along the water edges, creating a beautiful mosaic of offerings. The air was filled with the gentle hum of their songs, a tribute to the mermaid who had brought them such prosperity. Sometimes they remain at home and rest. Chief Uka stood at the forefront, leading the villagers in their prayers. "Imara, we honor your request and give thanks for your blessings. May this day of rest bring renewal to you as it does to us." As night fell and the new moon rose, the village settled into a peaceful silence. The river, undisturbed, seemed to glow softly under the moonlight, as if reflecting Imara's serene presence. The villagers felt a deep sense of connection and gratitude, knowing that their acts of respect would ensure the continued magic of the river. Despite the villagers' collected commitment, not everyone was entirely convinced of the need for a day of rest. A small group led by a woman called Delima harbored doubt. Delima was known for her stubborn nature and often questioned traditions and beliefs that she felt lacked tangible proof. As the week passed, the villagers observed Imara's day of rest, and the prosperity of Umuka continued to grow. Yet, Delima and her followers whispered among themselves, questioning whether the mermaid's request was truly necessary. "Why should we let a day go by without using the river?" Delima argued. "What harm could come from fetching water on any day we choose?" Her followers, though small in number, began to share her doubts. They believed that the mermaid might be testing their resolve, or that her request was merely a superstition without a real consequence. Despite these doubts, the majority of the villagers remained steadfast in their commitment to honor Imara's wishes. One fateful day, as the new moon approached, Delima decided to challenge the tradition. "I will fetch water from the river tomorrow," she declared to her followers. "We will see if anything will truly happen. I need to fetch water." Her announcement spread quickly through the village, causing an air of concern and unease. The villagers feared that breaking Imara's trust could bring misfortune upon them all. Chief Uka, hearing of Dilima's plan, approached her with a plea. "Dilima, please consider," he urged. "Imara has been kind and generous to us. Disobeying her request could have serious consequences." But Dilima was resolute. "Please, I do not believe in threats without evidence," she retorted. "Tomorrow, I don't have water. I will fetch water from the river and prove that nothing will happen." To avoid Dilima's trouble, the chief decided to let her be, hoping that she would change her mind. The village held its breath as the day of the moonlight arrived. As dawn broke, Dilima made her way to the river, her clay pots in hand. The villagers watched anxiously from a distance, their hearts heavy with fear and anxiety. Dilima reached the river's bank and dipped her pot into the water, filling it to the brim. She carried it back to the village, her steps deviant. As she walked, the air seemed to grow heavy and an unnatural stillness settled over Umuka. Suddenly, a powerful gust of wind swept through the village, followed by an eerie silence and a great outburst of thunderstorms. The river, once vibrant and flowing, began to recede, its water drying up before their very eyes. The villagers gasped in terror as the life-giving river turned into a barren, crackled riverbed. Imara emerged from the remaining water, her eyes blazing with anger and sadness. "You have broken your promises. Mama was right after all," she declared, her voice echoing through the village. "I gave you my gift out of love, and you have repaid me with betrayal." Swiftly, she immediately went back straight into the river. As Imara spoke, Dilima felt a strange sensation over her. Her voice, once strong and defiant, left her completely. She tried to speak, but no sound emerged. Dilima had become mute, a punishment for her disobedience and stubbornness. Dilima's evil friends felt stupid and ashamed for following Dilima. Villagers fell to their knees, pleading for Imara's forgiveness. "Please, Imara, do not take away our river," Chief Uka begged too. "We will do whatever it takes to make amends." Imara gazed softly, but the hurt in her eyes remained. "Your actions have shown me the truth of my mother's words," she said. "Humans can be ungrateful and disobedient. There is nothing I can do now. Mother gave me this one chance to prove that she was wrong." With this, Imara vanished, leaving the village in a state of shock and despair. The once prosperous Umuka was now faced with the harsh reality of their actions. They had taken Imara's gift for granted, and now they would have to find a way to earn back her trust and restore the river's magic. Refusing to give up, in the days that followed, the villagers of Umuka worked tirelessly to show their remorse and seek Imara's forgiveness. They organized daily prayers and rituals, offering heartfelt apologies and pledges to honor her wishes. The village square, once filled with traders and laughter, now echoed with songs of lament and hope. Chief Uka, alongside Mama Njoku and others, led the villagers in a collective effort to make amends. They built altars along the riverbed, adorned with flowers, brought fruits, and symbols of their gratitude. They refrained from any activity near the river on the day of the new moon, hoping to demonstrate their commitment to respecting Imara's need for rest. Weeks turned into months, and still the river remained dry. The villagers did not lose hope, continuing their effort to show Imara their sincerity. They shared stories of their generosity with the younger generations, ensuring that everyone understood the importance of their actions. Delima, now mute and filled with regret, joined the daily prayers, her silent presence a reminder of the consequences of disobedience. After some time, Delima was restored to normal and she thanked the river mermaid. Chief Uka waited and wished to see Mermaid Imara again in his dreams, but she never appeared to him again. He spent many nights by the river offering prayers and singing songs of gratitude, hoping to catch a glimpse of her shimmering scales or near her gentle voice. But Imara remained elusive, hidden in the depths of the water. The river continued to flow, but something had changed. The magical salt. Once the source of Umuka's prosperity ceased to form when the villagers fetched and cooked the water. The once thriving trade and bustling market square slowly dwindled. The villagers were left with the stark realization that Imara's gift had been withdrawn. Life in Umuka grew difficult without the enchanted salt. The villagers, who had grown accustomed to the prosperity it brought, now had to adapt to a more modest way of living. The village square, once filled with traders from distant lands, became quiet. The wealth that had flowed into the village began to fade, and many families returned to their previous way of life, relying on farming and crafting to sustain themselves. Despite the hardship, the villagers learned to appreciate the simpler things in life. They worked together to support one another, sharing resources and helping those in need. The sense of community and unity that had always defined Umuka became even stronger as they faced these new challenges. Delima and her husband, burdened by the guilt of their action and the hatred they received from the villagers, decided to leave Umuka. They decided to travel to a distant village where they would hope to start anew. Before leaving, Delima stood before the village and with her newfound voice expressed her deepest regret. "I am sorry for my actions," she said, her voice trembling with emotions. "I let my pride and skepticism lead me astray. I hope that one day you can find it in your heart to forgive me." Chief Uka, standing beside her, addressed the villagers. "Let us learn from Delima's mistakes, but also let us practice forgiveness. Holding on to hatred will only bring more suffering." Though it was difficult, the villagers nodded in agreement. They knew that harboring resentment would not bring back the magical salt or restore their prosperity. Instead, they focused on rebuilding their lives and honoring the lesson learned. The moral of this story emphasizes gratitude, respect, humility, and the consequences of breaking trust. The villagers thrived due to Imara's gift, but lost it when they took it for granted. This story highlighted the need to value blessings, to value people, to value gifts, And also, disobeying Imara's request led to severe consequences, stressing the importance of respecting agreements. Despite betrayal, forgiveness and community unity are essential for healing. The story also underscores the importance of respecting nature and mystical forces, reminding us to maintain humility and respect to sustain our blessings. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing, for liking. I would implore you to turn on the notification bell so as to be informed whenever I post another African folktale story. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye.